The US may never reach herd immunity, and here's why. Popular Science has an article talking about basically, well, the US, it's just not capable of herd immunity because people just don't cooperate. And let me tell you, this is another string of nonsense and misinformation that a lot of these big news agencies want you to believe, but the fact is that it holds no basis in reality, and I'll break it down as to why. But before we get started, I'm Dr. Nick Zarowski. Welcome to the channel. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Also, if you want my whole list of videos that are going to give you everything you need to know about natural health, go to www.drzee.tv. Let's dive into this because I am so sick of this information that just isn't true and isn't correct, okay? Herd immunity is likely out of reach for the US. The phrase herd immunity has long been thrown around during the pandemic, a glimmering idealistic term for when a high enough percentage of the population is immune to provide protection for the community as a whole. But even as more than 30% of the US population has been fully vaccinated, experts say that herd immunity is unlikely for Americans, not now and maybe not ever. This unwelcome prediction comes as vaccination rates slow down and new dangerous variants circulate. Experts now calculate that reaching herd immunity would require 80% of the population to be protected via immunization or prior infection. Okay, this is where this all goes wrong. Okay, what happened this year is that the CDC and the World Health Organization, they basically decided to change their definition of herd immunity. And I went over this in another video in great detail. I pulled up the actual websites and I showed how they had actually changed the definition of herd immunity. What they had changed the definition from herd immunity from was before, herd immunity was basically when a huge percent of the population got sick from a virus, whatever it is, you eventually developed herd immunity because people got sick, they developed antibodies against it, and therefore when the vast majority of the people were sick and developed antibodies, you then had herd immunity. Well, they basically switched it and said herd immunity doesn't exist outside of vaccines. Herd immunity comes from people getting vaccinated, which is totally nonsense and totally goes against all the science that we followed for the past 100 years, let's say. And so this is total nonsense, and they're trying to get people to believe this because they want to sell more vaccines, okay? It's total nonsense. I'm going to go on to read more of this, but polls show 30% of adults are still hesitant to get inoculated. Experts previously estimated that 60 to 70% of the immunity would be sufficient for herd immunity, but more contagious variants raised that threshold, okay? And then the next question is there's so much unknown. Like, do these vaccines actually, they're not going to just protect you from every variant that comes out. Now they're saying, oh, you need boosters, you need constant boosters. I'm going to tell you folks, this thing will never end. The big pharmaceutical companies, they have found the golden money pit. They found the money pit just stacked with gold, and it is the coronavirus that never ends. They had a dying industry. They weren't selling vaccines anymore because people were becoming very hesitant of them with all the different conditions that keep coming up that are just unexplained illnesses. People are becoming very hesitant on how many of these vaccines that they are just shoving down these parents' throats to give their children, and people became very hesitant, started to not use them, and now they just found a brand new market. I guarantee you this will never end, okay? Herd immunity comes from people getting sick and developing antibodies. They also have tried to very much convince people that it is impossible to develop antibodies that will protect you long term from the COVID issues. And this is where, once again, it's total and utter nonsense, because there's actually this study of, imagine if they were spewing this nonsense back in the day. There's a study, and what they did is they looked at, researchers find long-lived immunity to 1918 pandemic virus. What they did is they took a bunch of really old people and they tested them, and they were over 90 years of age. And basically what they wanted to see if they had antibodies to the pandemic virus of 1918. And what they found is, sure enough, these folks did. They had the ability 90 years later to fight off that virus. They had the ability to fight it off. How crazy is that 90 years later? And they're convincing people today that that's impossible. No, you couldn't possibly develop antibodies to fight off COVID. And it's utter nonsense. See, when you read this research and you actually like understand what's going on, and it's interesting to me because when I talk to researchers, and people who are PhDs, they go, "Oh yeah, they're talking nonsense." When you look at this, yes, you will develop antibodies. Yes, it will protect you, and yes, you can get herd immunity just from people getting sick and developing antibodies from this. Okay, the same people who are trying to convince you that this isn't possible, well, they're the people who are trying to sell you a vaccine. They're the politicians who are fighting for more power, who are fighting for media attention in trying to be celebrity-like figures. They are the enormous corporations that are lobbying to keep things locked down, basically, and they're becoming wealthier and wealthier every day, where all the small businesses go under. I mean, you look at the richest people in the world, and they became like trillions of dollars richer throughout the whole pandemic. I mean, it's disgusting what's going on, and it's the people who are making all the money that are going, "Oh, you better be scared." And look at even the news channels. The news channels pretty much have been caught in the lie, coming right from their own mouth that, "Oh yeah, we do anything we can to inflate the numbers and scare people because, man, it's really good for ratings and we make more money in ad revenue when our ratings go up." So don't believe this nonsense. These people are crooks. These people are criminals. Okay, and I've been saying this all from the very beginning. Okay. I want to go a little bit further. The virus is unlikely to go away. As I mentioned, I predict that it will not go away because there's too much to gain by the people who are trying to gain something out of this. Okay, that's why I predict it'll never go away. An evolutionary biologist at Emory University to the New York Times, but we want to do all we can to check that it's likely to become a mild infection. While COVID-19 may be here to stay, it's predicted to become a much more manageable part of life, especially as vaccinating the most vulnerable will make future spikes less deadly. Okay, so this is something that is very interesting. We definitely have the ability to reach herd immunity simply by people getting sick and becoming and developing antibodies. You know, one of the things that we do have is an immune system, and our immune system is powerful. Our immune system is strong as long as we take care of our bodies. Okay, if you're trying to live a life where you're obese, you are deficient in vitamins, you have comorbidities, you don't exercise, you don't eat right, and you think you're going to be protected from anything. It doesn't matter if the flu, if it's COVID, if it's a bacterial infection, if it's pneumonia, it doesn't matter. All these same things will kill you when your body is weak. If you take care of your body, if you take care of your immune system, then you will be able to fight these things off and you will be healthy for it. Let me know in the comments below. Do you believe that you should be fighting this naturally, or do you believe that for the rest of your life you need to have artificial immunity? What do you believe? And here's my opinion of this. Okay, this is my opinion. You can take it or leave it. These companies, these big pharmaceutical companies, they are trying to monetize your immune system, and I think that's an incredibly good business model. If I can convince you that everything that comes along, you can't do anything about it, your bodies are incapable, and you need to basically get something from me, a shot, a pill, a potion, or something that is going to protect you because your body is 100% incapable. And if they can convince you of that, then my gosh, the money you can make every time a little flu, cough, or sniff or anything comes around. I mean, they've been doing this with the flu vaccine for years. They've been pushing the flu vaccine on people for years. When the Cochrane Review Group over in Europe, when they looked at the flu vaccine, they said it's nonsense. We don't even need it over here. It's junk. It's garbage. It doesn't do anything. In the United States, they're going, "Oh my gosh, did you get your flu shot? You're going to die without this thing." So these are all things that you have to take seriously. I mean, look, like I said, you can take it or leave it. You don't have to believe in what I have to say. The fact is that I've been 100% right the whole time we have looked at anything to do with COVID. I'm not saying that to beat on my chest, and I said this the other day. I would never say these things to beat on my chest, because the fact is many people were hurt by this very bad information that's been put out there. But the one thing I can tell you that will win every time is if you take care of yourself and you focus on boosting your immune system and you do the right things. I've been recommending people take these immune booster packs that are proven to help boost your immune system. And if you boost your immune system, you can fight off all types of viruses and bacterial infections and everything that comes at you. I'll put a link in the description to the immune booster packs that I've been telling people that they should use, but it's common sense. Take care of your body and it'll take care of you. Now, and I say that I've been right the whole time because we're seeing research, one piece after another, basically proving everything I've said. One piece of research saying lockdowns, they didn't do anything. They didn't work. Sorry about your luck. Sorry that you lost your business, you lost your job, you lost your livelihood. They didn't work anyway. Sorry about your luck. We've been seeing that, yeah, you should have been exercising the whole time because the people who actually exercise have better COVID outcomes. Can you believe that? And they closed down all the gyms. I've been saying that from the beginning. It's not because I'm so smart and everybody else is so dumb. It's just that this is facts that remains factual no matter what. If you exercise, you eat right, you take care of yourself, your immune system will take care of you. These are the facts. Okay, so when you start like even having to do research that says, oh, maybe if you exercise, that's healthy. I mean, that's ignorant. We know if you exercise, it's healthy. It's good for your immune system. And so another piece of research, vitamin D is important. I've been saying this from day one. Vitamin D is critical for immune function. And now they're coming out with research. Oh, if you take vitamin D and take zinc and you take all these natural vitamins I recommended from the very beginning, you're going to have healthier outcomes. I mean, look, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. It just takes somebody who is willing to have an ounce of integrity and tell people the way it is and tell people the facts, okay? I'm sorry if you're obese, but it's time to take control. If you have comorbidities, it's time to take control. It's time to take control of your health, take control of your immune system, and this is how you live a better life. Be honest with people. But the fact is that all the people who are being extraordinarily dishonest, they have something to gain, and that's a lot of money. Okay, don't think that these pharmaceutical companies are doing this. They're not doing God's work out there, folks. They're taking your money. I mean, these things, you are paying for this. Sure, they're paying. They're getting bought by the government, but where does the government get money from? They get money from you. I mean, they just have a better business model. They basically have a product that they get your money from the government, and the government takes your money through taxes, and then from that point on, they get your money. I mean, it's a business. It is a business. They're not doing God's work out there, folks. All right. Check out the other videos on this channel. Get your immune system right, and I'll see you in the next video.